Right now, we bring you to a Foundation's Red for Heart Health event as we close out Heart Month. Also, a local man can now say he's ran all of Madison's over 3,000 streets. We'll show you just how he did it. And we're following a police chase in Monona that leads to an arrest. All that we know so far. That's all coming up on News 3 Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. 2 people are arrested after Monona police say they engaged officers in a vehicle pursuit. Officers say the vehicle was speeding along Highway 12 and did not stop for authorities. Police deployed a tire deflation device and successfully deflated the driver's tires. Both were taken into custody. The arrest was made of 32-year-old Donald L. Jackson of Madison, and he was arrested for felony eluding and bail jumping along with multiple other felony charges. A 22-year-old Madison woman was arrested for felony eluding. A Fitchburg man is arrested after Monona police say he drove drunk and led officers on a pursuit. Police say just after 2 a.m., a vehicle was traveling 100 miles per hour near West Broadway and Fayette Avenue. After an officer attempted a traffic stop, the driver reportedly lost control of their vehicle and collided into several parked cars. The 24-year-old man was arrested for operating a vehicle while impaired, second-degree reckless endangering safety, eluding and operating after revocation. A hybrid golf entertainment venue in DeForest filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Penn Seekers filed in Western District Court of Wisconsin on Tuesday. The venue said in a Facebook post it will remain open and have secured short-term funding to fully finance its operations. Penn Seekers said it will be able to pay approximately 75 employees, all of their wages, salaries, and benefits. A newly released video shows thieves breaking into Milwaukee Bucks players' homes. You can see 3 men here outside of Milwaukee Bucks forward Bobby Portis Jr.'s home in River Hills, Wisconsin in November. Portis Jr. was away from home playing a game at the time. The thieves break through the glass and enter the home. Later, they can be seen coming out with a safe and a suitcase.
You still have to lay your head where you got robbed at, and sometimes it's kind of disturbing. Crazy that the picture on there, like, I ain't gonna say nothing else about it. It works me up, man.
They are a part of a group of 7 Chilean men federal prosecutors are charging for targeting professional athletes. They are accused of carrying out similar crimes at the homes of Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, among other athletes. The month of February is known as a bunch of celebrations like Valentine's Day and Black History Month. February is also when organizations fight for heart health. Today, the Black Women Wellness Foundation hosted their Red for Heart Health event. Our Tanasia Shaw is at the Goodman Community Center with more.
This is Christine Russell. She's the Director of Health and Wellness for the Madison nonprofit, the Foundation for Black Women's Wellness.
We need our community to come together and realize that this is a problem and this is not okay, and there are solutions.
Russell plays a big part in their events like Rare Red Day.
It's important for Black women specifically because heart disease and cardiac issues is the #1 threat. The #1 threat for Black women in the United States.
This is the 14th time the foundation is hosting this event. This year, Russell fell off before the big day.
I pride myself in being a healthy person and making healthy decisions. But as I was preparing for this event, I had a heart scare myself.
Russell knew she had to put years' worth of education and demonstration for others to use for herself.
Everything is fine. All the tests came back normal. It actually was a misalignment of my spine that was giving me these symptoms. But if I never made the call, if I never got it checked out, who knows where I would be? I'm not just gonna sit on it and say, well, it's normal to feel dizzy. It's normal to get headaches all the time. It's not. It's not. So I was empowered to make the call out of the work that I do every day.
And Russell isn't alone. The founder, Lisa Payton, said she hears about testimonies all the time and knows the importance of heart health firsthand.
I lost my mother and countless women in my immediate family, all 3 of my paternal aunts and many, many women who I grew up with. I saw them succumb to heart disease. I went to their funerals, and so it's very real, it's very raw. And that story has not been eliminated despite the incredible work we're doing.
A big takeaway from the event is that daily small changes could save your life.
There is going to be stories shared today about women who have gone to a Wear Red Day event and heard information that triggered something to make a change, whether that's a lifestyle change, whether that's calling their physician, or whether that's going to the emergency room for life-saving care.
Reporting in Madison, Tanasia Shaw, News 3 Now.
Tanasia, thank you. More than 100 people attended today's event. The foundation hosts several health-based events throughout the year. Now let's get a look at your first warn forecast with the meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze, how does it feel out there?
A little cold, but we're continuing to build up our warmth from even yesterday, this evening, and we're going to continue to warm up essentially through Monday of next week. So we're in the teens and 20s right now. It's 23 in Madison, 24 Camp Douglas, 19 in Black River Falls, 17 in Juneau, 18 to our south for those of us in Watertown. It's 24 Middleton, Verona, 23 in Mount Horeb. So we'll continue to cool on down, but we do have mostly cloudy conditions. That coupled with these southwesterly winds are going to keep us actually a little bit more mild this evening. That's why we're anywhere between 5 to really 10 degrees warmer than the same time yesterday night, because we didn't have the cloudy conditions Friday into this Saturday. Winds are going to be light out of the southwest not only this evening but throughout most of the morning hours on your Sunday. They're going to pick up in speed though as we head throughout the weekend, because we've got to warm us up for your Monday. Teens and 20s tonight, pretty seasonal underneath those mostly cloudy conditions. As I mentioned, we're going to time out a few rain and snow chances next week and talk about this warm up and really see how warm we do get next week in just a few minutes.
All right, sounds good, Blaze. We'll see you in just a bit. You can stay up to date on the weather on our First Warn Forecast weather app. It is hourly forecast, road conditions, and the latest radar. You can download it for free on your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather. Have you ever wondered what it would look like to run in every Madison street? Well, don't worry, you don't have to do it, because David Markle already did. Our Elia Liberté has the story.
David Markle takes life one step at a time.
I've been a runner my entire life.
He's run the Boston, Chicago, and Madison marathons. But his most recent achievement, Madison's 3,052 streets.
Up and down every single street, cul-de-sac, dead end. It's been an adventure.
He started the adventure about 2 years ago, tracking his progress on city strides. According to the site, those 3,000 streets count as completing Madison.
This has given me a way to explore the city, get to know the city even more.
And to do that, he plans out his routes.
I make little maps up sometimes in the winter because when you go run 12, 14 miles at a crack and it's 2 degrees outside, you have to conserve your battery as much as you can.
And more than just an impressive feat, David says the challenge has allowed him to see not just the city, but the people behind it.
It gives me a respect for city workers and plow drivers, because you actually don't realize how many streets they have to go up and down, up and down. And also EMS and fire, being able to navigate through areas.
He's also already completed other cities like Lake Mills, Stoughton, and Cottage Grove.
I've even hit areas that aren't technically on the maps yet to try to stay ahead of where the roads will be.
But his next step?
The ultimate goal is to run every legal road in Dane County eventually.
Reporting in Madison, Elia Liberté, News 3 Now.
Keep on running, man. Coming up next on News 3 Now at 10, Blaze returns with a complete look of your First Warn forecast. And Wisconsin farmers air their concerns over changes to the federal government. Plus, the latest on the health of Pope Francis after the Vatican announces an...
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Thank you for staying with us. Some Wisconsin farmers have concerns about recent changes at the federal government. Alani Claudio reports from a town hall meeting in Chippewa Falls.
The pain is real here right now. What people are feeling, the uncertainty of what is happening to multi-generational farms.
Recent changes in the federal government have farmers in Wisconsin deeply concerned if their farms can even continue. At a town hall meeting, the Wisconsin Farmers Union extended an invite to both state and federal legislators to address some of those changes.
99.9% of the food that goes to overseas that was provided by USAID, which has been decimated, comes from the United States, including farmers in Wisconsin. Immigration, clearly we know the impact it has on many farms in Wisconsin.
After each legislator spoke, everyone had a chance to share their side.
They've covered a lot of the concerns at the small, not even just family farms, local growers to the smaller family farms to those farming on thousands of acres.
My son, who's working to take over our farm, he is scared to death because we only milk 52 cows. When the day comes where all the big farmers are going to be out there and they're going to refuse to pick up our milk because we don't milk enough cows.
Scott Sullivan, a Chippewa Falls resident, spoke about recent tax cuts that many say only help the rich.
By proportion they will, but the small business owners also have an impact on that.
Adding that both political parties try to get people to advocate for what they feel is best.
It should be what can we do to work together. Maybe you can't work on everything, but identify those that you have a fit with, run with them, and then talk about how can we address these issues.
And there's only one way to do that.
But I think it starts with people like these folks telling their stories and coming to elected officials and saying, I need you to work for me, not the special interests.
Pope Francis remains hospitalized in critical condition and developed an asthmatic respiratory crisis. In an update Saturday, the Vatican said the pontiff is in more pain than yesterday. The statement also said he received blood transfusion Saturday to treat anemia. However, the Vatican also noted the Pope continues to be alert and spent the day in an armchair. Pope Francis was admitted to the hospital last week and has subsequently been diagnosed with pneumonia in both lungs. Doctors say he is expected to remain hospitalized for at least all of next week. Tonight, for the first time in his new administration, President Trump is spending the weekend in the nation's capital. And across the Potomac, an extraordinary purge at the Pentagon. CBS's Willie James Inman is at the White House with details.
In an unprecedented move, President Trump fired four-star General Charles C.Q. Brown, the nation's highest-ranking military officer. Trump called Brown a fine gentleman and an outstanding leader without giving a reason for his dismissal. The president said he will nominate three-star Air Force Lieutenant General Dan Kane to replace General Brown. Brown is a highly decorated fighter pilot with over 40 years of service.
Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth to end the woke insanity and rebuild our military.
Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth said Brown served with distinction, but Hegseth has criticized so-called woke ideology deployed in the military.
You got to fire the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. Any general that was involved, general, admiral, whatever that was involved in any of the DEI woke, it's got to go.
Also ousted the Navy's top admiral Lisa Franchetti and Air Force Vice Chief of Staff James Slife. The leadership shakeup comes as the Pentagon, the government's biggest employer, prepares to fire at least 5,400 probationary employees next week.
I signed an order creating the Department of Government Efficiency, which is now waging war on government waste, fraud, and abuse.
This, as the president says he wants Doge leader Elon Musk to get more aggressive with federal cuts.
Federal employees have begun receiving an email with instructions to reply with 5 bullet points about what they accomplished over the last week, with a deadline set for late Monday evening. Willie James Inman, CBS News, the White House.
Now let's get a look at your first warm forecast. Meteorologist Blaze Keller joins us now.
And we are set to remain warm as we go into this final week, really, of February. Cloudy tonight, and as we look ahead to Sunday, we'll see more sunshine as the day goes on. And then our first of a couple chances for a light wintry mix moves in later on Monday. But we're going to be doing a lot of melting, not only because of our warmer temperatures, but really, we're going to add a little bit of rain to the snow as well. So our first low pressure system, our first clipper moves out of Canada as we go further into your Monday, but not before we see more partly sunny conditions as we go into your Sunday. Southwesterly winds stick with us throughout the day on Sunday, and if we can clear out those clouds sooner rather than later, we'll just have that extra chance to get warmer before we go into next week. Our first clipper system is going to remain in southern Canada, which allows us to actually warm up and then not cool down as it begins to slide its way eastward. Normally we'd get the northwesterly winds behind this low pressure system, but we don't. We really just stay with the west southwesterly winds. So other than a light early AM mix there later Monday night into early Tuesday, we then have to jump ahead to Wednesday into Thursday. That's the next clipper that could move through parts of southern Wisconsin, bringing us a wintry mix chance not only for your Wednesday morning and into the afternoon hours, but then as we go into Thursday as well. This system is not only a little bit more organized, but it's also a little bit further south. So we will feel some of that cooler air move down as we go into that following Friday. This clipper system does look to miss us in terms of precipitation, but I also think that those northwesterly winds behind this clipper system will then further pull down a little bit of cooler air as we go into the first few days of March. In terms of snow totals and rain totals, clipper systems, they don't pack a lot of moisture, so our snow totals are looking to be minimal, as well as our rain totals over the next week. But we will be doing a little bit of melting, and even with this little bit of rain, it may be a good idea to clear out some drains if you have them around your house, drains in the streets as well, to just really minimize the amount of flooding that could happen. I don't foresee any flash melting. I think we're going to be warming up slowly into Sunday, and then throughout Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Overnight, we'll settle into around freezing and then climb to above freezing during the day, so we'll chip away at the snowpack slowly. But it's just a good idea to maybe clear out some of the drains if you have an area in your yard that maybe is more prone to flooding. High temperatures compared to normal, anywhere between 5 to 15 degrees above normal as we go into those final few days of February. And then as we kick off March there, starting Saturday onwards, we do look to maybe slide just a few degrees below normal. But long-range models really don't have a big warm-up or a big cool down for us here in central and southern Wisconsin over the next 2 weeks. Upper 30s to low 40s as we make our way to the end of the weekend. Pretty seasonal. And again, if we can see more sunshine, we're just going to have that better chance to really warm up to end the weekend because we have the southwesterly winds and we could have more of that sunshine by the afternoon. Upper 40s to mid 40s, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, low 40s, Thursday, Friday, and then more seasonal temperatures as we kick off March. So a nice little kind of taste of spring, maybe easing into March like a lamb and not in like a, what is it, out, in like a lion, out like a lamb. I'd rather go in like a lamb and out like an even softer lamb.
I'm with you.
I don't want any more extreme weather.
That 47 degrees, that's
it's gonna be
right
nice.
up my alley. I'm going to go for a run outside. Do you want to join me?
I don't run, so no, but I will be outside.
All right.
Because it's going to be nice. You can't beat those temperatures.
It's almost like grilling weather at that point.
Truly.
Once you like start creeping to 50,
might as well break it out.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Blaze. And to stay up to date, you can download our First One Forecast weather app. It is hourly forecast, road conditions, and the latest radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather. And coming up in sports, Andrew joins us with the full highlights from the roller coaster game at the Kohl Center. Next on News 3 Now.
It had the makings of being yet another chapter in what's been a season full of John Tonje takeovers. The first half of today's game against Oregon was all Wisconsin. The offense was humming. You could even say Tonje was holding the harmonica. He had 16 points before the break, but then things got really weird, specifically in the last 6 minutes of the game, which is where we pick things up. Tonje takes it to the cup for two, giving Wisconsin a 14-point lead, but then the Badgers, they started coughing the ball up like they had the flu. They turned it over 11 times in the second half alone, and the Ducks quacked their way back. They'd make it a 3-point game with less than 20 seconds to go, and what do the Badgers do but turn it over again? This time, of course, Oregon turns it into points. Jackson Stelshad hits the clutch three to tie it at 66. with just a couple seconds to go in the game. Max Klesmet, he had a chance to respond, but can't get it to go. And folks, we need to take a breath and head to overtime. Wisconsin, though, had no chance to regroup. Many chances to win this one in the latter seconds of the game, but eventually Tanjay and the Badgers could not get it done. Oregon comes into the Kohl Center and takes it 77-73 in overtime. They applied more pressure than the Badgers could withstand, and for Greg Gard, it all comes back to being more aggressive.
We can't get into being a tentative, non-aggressive team. We're really good when we are aggressive, and obviously we stink when we're not.
The pressure maybe gets to us a little bit against those teams that want to get out and deny us and make our lives a little bit more difficult. So, like John said, I think it's a good learning experience for us. We'd rather take this one on the chin now than in March. So, like you said, we're going to learn from it, watch the film, and get better for sure.
There just seems to be something about playing Bemidji State that makes Kirsten Sims want to go deep into her headwear closet. Last year, she had her first and only career hat trick against the Beavers, and today in the Badgers' regular season finale, she brought out the hats once more. First period, and Casey O'Brien puts it on a platter for Simsy, and 27 puts it in the back of the net. That goal would tie the game at 1 apiece, but she was just getting started. Scored another one in the second, and then in the third, still, of course, had another trick up her sleeve. Cleans up the trash and buries one into the back of the net for her third goal of the game, and that is what we call a hat trick. Wisconsin wins the regular season finale, 6-1 the final. We flip that score on its head and look at what the Wisconsin men did today in their regular season finale against Notre Dame. They dropped 6-1 and is the Big Ten's 6th seed heading into the Big Ten tournament. Heading down to Waukesha for day 2 of the state swim meet, which means it's time for Division I. And that's where Middleton shines. The Cardinals in the 200-yard medley relay blazing a new path. They didn't just win the event, they set a new state record, doing so by 1/100th of a second. But for Middleton, there were more medals where that came from. Specifically from this guy, Sam Wolf. He won the 200-yard freestyle, helping the Cardinals secure the state title for their 3rd straight year. And by the way, that guy right there, Wolf, he had 3 more event titles on the day. And we move over to Memorial, who also was swimming through the water like a fish. Alex Heinrich, he wins the 200-yard freestyle, and so many winners all across our region today. We congratulate each and every single one of them. We'll be right back.
Sure.
Will it be warm enough, though?
Yeah, 40s on Monday all the way through Friday. I think our best chance for a winter mix is going to hold off until Wednesday into Thursday.
All right, sounds good. We'll see you back here tomorrow.